Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your market wrap-up for your SPDR, ETF, and stock market of the day. And this is for May 10th, that's Tuesday, 2022. Well, what a day. And tomorrow's going to be wild. You know, today I was looking for what we call that Tuesday reversal. And as I said, you get big moves on a Monday, be it up or down. Tuesday's often a day where you try to reverse that. It doesn't mean you succeed in doing it, but the best part of the day is spent trying to reverse. In other words, you were down hard yesterday, you're trying to rally today. And I think the market pretty well fulfilled that. The NASDAQ certainly was a big reversal all day, but the other indices were floundering, but fighting for it all day. At one point, you were up over 300 points in the Dow, so it gives you an idea, even though it gave up just about everything. Now, tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up and all heck is going to break loose because we're going to be looking at CPI numbers. So you're going to see CPI, core CPI, month over month, year over year. And from there, the market has to decide, is inflation peaking or has it still got life to it and it's climbing even higher? There'll be the naysayers, even if the number's a hot number, that, oh, it's going to peak very soon, blah, blah, blah. You get the others that are going to come out and they'll say, hey, if the number broke, it's on its way down and that was the peak of it. What will that mean? Well, it's going to mean lots of volatility. If you think you're smart enough to figure it out, then you have to position yourself tonight in the futures markets most likely and take your shot that way. Or you wait back and you sit back and you say, I'm just going to let it do its thing and then I'll come in as the dust settles a little bit. In the first 20 minutes of trade, actually in the first 2 or 3, you're going to see craziness from the algorithms. If the numbers are shocker, let's assume it came in 7.5%. I'd call that a shock. Let's assume it comes in at 9. I'd call that a shock as the high. So you got to understand some parameters with it, what the trade is looking for, trade it accordingly after the fact. I'm also seeing a lot of analysts starting to talk, and I watch it all day. Well, you know, if you have a 5-year horizon, this is probably a good spot to come in. If you believe the U.S. economy is going to be better and these companies are good, such as Disney, such as Apple, and so on, I'll never argue with that because I do believe good companies today will be higher in price 5 years from now. But, again, are you a trader? An investor? Are you looking for an immediate or a very long-term reward? You know, if you're like Warren Buffett, you might buy this today and hold it 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. So you have to decide your method of trade. Rivian. Now, you want to talk about a story. Wasn't this nearly $180 a share? So the reason the gap in the chart is there, they just told the lettered stock. If you know what lettered stock is, it means you put the thing in, you have to hold it a certain amount of time. They can sell. The market has been falling apart in anticipation. As soon as they opened the door, they began selling. So there are people out there that are saying, what? There's no future in Rivian. Why else would it go from 180 to that? There'll be people picking it up and saying, you are so wrong. They have the Amazon, they have all the right things behind it that are going for it. It'll be a fine thing. It's just a supply chain issue that happened to run into COVID and so many other things. And it's the buy of a lifetime. I don't know. What I do know is the chart, and that's what I will look at. So you have a market that's got a higher high and a lower low. Okay. You have a market that is staying underneath the 18-day average of closes, giving it a downside bias. Once it got under it back over here in March, actually it's a lot further back. It's been in a crash mode for a long time. But it's had one flip over at the beginning of April. And, you know, when you know the lettered boys are going to come out and they can finally dump stock that they've been wanting to get rid of, that's it. Did any of them make money at $20? I got my doubts. I think it's just a matter. I don't believe in it if you're selling out that low. It's got to be something along that tune. If you take a look at the Bollinger Band, 2 days under it, so you're getting a bit extreme. And in momentum, are we embedded? So both numbers were under 20, under 20, under 20, under 20. Yeah, you've been fully embedded. When the red line closes back over 21, I would expect the market's going to get a rally back up to the 32 level or wherever that 18-day average is. To learn this technique, and I teach it in a way that you're going to pick up on it 1, 2, 3. Just take your cursor right up here at any time, ideally at the end of all this, put it there, the icon will show, and we go into me explaining how you learn about this. And this is a technique you should put in your arsenal. Learning to play Bollinger Bands with the slow stochastic combination. If I had to do one thing in trading, you're looking at it. Can I be any clearer? Okay. So, AMC. Well, I was hoping it would be better because I was counting on Dr. Strange to do the job for me. Is he doing it? No. This is a new low on the move. This was a capitulation type move today. However, if you take out today's high of 1401 on Wednesday or Thursday, I think before you know it, you'll be up at the 18-day average of closes. It's my guess. Why? Because I know how to play outside days, and more times than not, that technique works. I want to repeat what I just said, more times than not. Nothing is all the time. There's risk associated with everything. My new course will teach you these plays and how to play with stops and all. I haven't even finished recording, okay? Tomorrow's a real big day where I'm going to be hitting that. But are we embedded in AMC? Well, let's go here. Certainly, you're embedded there. Both numbers under 20, under 20, under 20, under 20. So, two things you got going. Number one, the pros are going to keep selling this market until the red line is over 21. Number two, if you take out today's high, you're going to get a big pop, in my opinion, back to wherever that 18-day average is. You put the two together and you can come up maybe with a game plan for yourself, maybe. I know how to do it, but that's not what this is about. Apple. Market trying to hold the lower Bollinger Band, very oversold condition, a lot of resistance, and a possible bearish move coming on you. Where the 18-day average closes under the 200, that'd be another bearish crossover on the chart. Disney just doesn't give up on the downside, and why should it? I'm the big bear on it. Why? Because it's embedded. Take the name off the charts. That's what you've got to learn to do. If you're going to be a chartist, you don't need the name of what it is. Here's what I think you need. You need to know in the stock market, is there an earnings report? You need to know, are there key government reports coming out? That's what you need to know. You want to stand away from a moving freight train that can hurt that. Barring those events, you just have to worry about the day-to-day major world events. We have another outbreak of COVID. Did somebody get killed of major importance? Are we going into a war of some type? But the day-to-day action, nah. That's it. Tomorrow with the CPI number, to me, I'm on full alert. I'll be up at 4 in the morning doing my usual, getting ready for the move. I will have been showered, ready, locked and loaded at 7:30 to go. XLF, lower highs, lower lows, oversold, hit its downside target of the Bollinger Band. You got as low as 33.19, 33.24 is the number. I think the pros got out of the market. Again, take the course. You learn why sometimes they hold, sometimes they get out. I teach that. XLI, higher high, lower low, oversold. I don't see anybody doing anything in that. XSD, the semiconductors, boy, you'd have thought with all the shortages of semiconductors, this could not have occurred, right? But it has occurred. When's the last time we were this low? They're just getting annihilated. This whole ETF package getting killed. Then you take a look at XHB. So what you did today, you have a market that held the lower band. It came from the upper band to the lower band, went up today, fought the battle, and right back down to the band. You're stuck in that. Now, you're trying to widen out ever so little the Bollinger Band on that. The bears have the edge, but you are oversold. When the market's oversold and you get to a lower Bollinger Band, it's pretty simple to figure out what to do. On the energy sector, energy is fighting a big battle here. You have the trend up. You fell back right here where the pros probably bought at 78.14 or not. I don't think so. Why? You're overbought as can be. In order to stay the market down that much earlier in the day, had you even thought of buying at 78, you were still very overbought. I was looking at it, so I know. You finally finished at the end of the day at the low, and that dragged the market. But you're still overbought. A 71 reading, anything over 70 is overbought. I don't think the pros buy. I think that some pros, I can't answer for what everybody does. Obviously, I don't know. But I think a lot of programs look at what they define as overbought, oversold. My looking at what others do over 5 decades, you learn. And I think any reading over 70 is the key. It used to be 80 for me. I lowered it to 70. I raised the downside number because I saw the obvious, at least to me. GLD, okay, now you're into big support area. This is your first challenge of the 200-day average of closes. We haven't been there since back here in February. It held back then, and you're approaching the lower Bollinger Band. The key of the two could be the support. That is not a buy signal. Are you embedded? One more day, come on. You didn't lose the embedding. The pros are short. Market coming down. I can promise you, today I was telling my traders that I thought this is where I thought that the pros were going to take their first money off the table this morning when I was putting out my videos, and that's what I think. I've also been bearish GDX. GDX didn't hold here, so the Bollinger Band becomes the next potential. Keep in the back of your mind, on both these you're embedded. You don't want to close back over 21, but these markets, they're under bearish, not bullish influence. Copper, will it hit the lower Bollinger Band? It's tried to avoid doing so for over a month. And it generally doesn't like to hit these bands. Take a look, it doesn't have a history of that. So you're down into an area where, are you embedded? Okay. Both numbers under 20, under 20, under 20, under 20. Are they under 20 here? No. So you got 4 days. Yeah. Have the pros had a rally to sell into? No. I teach that in the course too. I'm pushing the course because there's so many of these Bollinger Bands in front of you. You got to learn what I'm talking about. Then I'll stop pushing it for a while because you'll understand when I say, you hit it and blah, blah, this happened. TLT. You rarely stay more than, it's rare to get to 5 days under a Bollinger Band on a closing basis. You had 2 here, you're giving yourself a little bit of a pop, but this is logical. This AGG, BND, come on. You got CPI numbers tomorrow. You're seeing in the futures how they've all rallied up in the futures contracts of the notes and the bonds as traders get ready for whatever this is. Why? Because it may alter the Fed's thinking. A really hot CPI could get them into full gear going, oh boy, we got our hands full. Forget just June and July, it could be worse. Seeing it fall to 7.5%, a big drop, they might go, wait a minute, do we need all of them that we're contemplating? There's something for everybody. Be careful on this. FXE, still with the bearish embedded reading. You watch that and you put your game together. So I'll repeat. If you want to learn something and learn what I think is one of the most important tools of trading, just move your cursor up here, right up there. You'll learn all about it. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day.